one on. All right. Thank y'all for joining. This is going to be a lecture about time management is nervous system management. I got my herbal tea on deck and I got some water on deck. Don't be a dehydrated woman this season, okay? Get your hydration in. I'll try not to cuss too much on here. So I do got my notes because I wrote like 4 pages of stuff about this topic. I thought about this earlier today when I was working out. I was sitting outside the gym and I was like, a lot of people don't comprehend that time management is how you create a soft life. Time management is how you manage your life, manage your mind, manage your time. Like, without time management, it's you can't manage anything. And that's my opinion based on my experience and the way that I live my life, because I build my life like a curriculum, like a school, like a business. Like, we have things that we're always going to be moving towards. So it is Monday. Okay, and you remember last Monday when you said you was gonna start this Monday? Happy Monday. Monday is here. Monday is the day that a lot of people be like, oh, I'm gonna start Monday, oh, I'll start next week, oh, I'll start during this time, whatever that looks like. And you don't have to wait on another Monday to start now. You don't have to wait on another next week to start today. You can start doing small things that put you in a better position starting now. You don't have to wait. And that's really what I want everyone to get from this is when you learn how to manage your time better, you know, your growth is a gift to your nervous system. The more that you grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally with your time, you have to learn how to manage that where you give that time back to yourself for the things that are important to you, right? Oftentimes we have commitments that we make to other people, but we don't keep the commitments that we have to ourselves. Let's sit with that. So, waiting until you feel like it, waiting until next Monday, waiting until next week. Why wait until you're overstimulated when you got all the tabs open in your brain? You got all these bills running in the background. You got all this noise here from emotional labor, from spiritual labor, from work, from kids, from spouse, to whatever that stressor looks like. All those things can change for you being able to know how to manage your life better, learning how to be proactive in your life instead of reactive when it comes to what you want. So I will start by saying that this time management is nervous system management came inspired by something that I looked at last year in September, which was interesting. I looked at some notes on my phone, and it was a productivity thing that I was doing last year. I was just trying to figure out, like, how can I be more productive with my time? Like, I'm already really productive, but like, what are some little habits that I can stack or use to help me become more productive with myself? So tell me, what are some ways that you like to be productive in your world, right? How are you managing your productivity with the time that you have? So a lot of people are talking about nervous system regulation, but I feel like the key component that is missing in this conversation is nervous system regulation. Like, it's hard to manage anything without knowing how to manage yourself. Okay? That's the point. Oh, let me turn this heater off because I got hot. Managing your nervous system and managing your life. Let's get into it. Your life needs system, and it needs for you to take control of it, right? A lot of times we wait until life gets so out of hand and so ridiculous and so many things instead of using the tools that we have to reel it in before it gets out of control, right? I heard someone say, like, I'm not I'm not a morning person. I'm not a nighttime person. I'm not this type of person. It's not about being any type of specific day or time. It's literally about how you manage the time that you have outside of your work schedule, outside of your sleep schedule, the time that you have to yourself outside of work and sleep and, pick up kids, whatever that look like for you. How are you managing the time outside of that? Are you just sitting there scrolling on your phone? Do you have all these ideas in your mind that you want to implement? You want to create a business, you want passive income, you want all these things. But it's hard to have any of those things if you don't know how to manage your time. If you don't know how to manage your time, managing your nervous system is literally one and the same. So let's keep going. So I'll start with saying that a lot of people depend on their mind as like their reminder system, right? Your brain was never meant to hold all the stuff that it's getting in this day and time, right? We literally have the world wide web at our fingertips, right? So many things are always looking for our attention. And so how can you shift that attention to being more intentional with how you spend your time? Right? Because time is really the only currency that we have. And that's why you go to work every day, is because you trade time for money. And eventually, if you want to be wealthy, rich, whatever that looks like for you, you have to learn how to stop trading your time for money in that way of an hour of my time is this, right? You want to be making money all the hours of the day. That's what passive income really is, or that active, consistently growing income. How do you get there if you can't manage your time? How do you get there if your nervous system is overwhelmed and fried because you're overstimulated from doing so much of nothing? And it made me think about something one of my spiritual teachers told me about potential. Is like, potential means nothing if you're not doing anything with it. So much wasted potential because you don't have the time to follow through. You don't make the time to follow through. See, with me, you're going to take accountability for the part that you play in your own world. Your world is the way it is because you haven't taken control of your world. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Let's learn how to manage that time. So, learning how to manage your time helps with mind clutter, right? All that noise in the background telling you things that you need to do, all the decisions that you have to make because you don't automate. You don't automate and you don't delegate. Sit with that for a second. You need to start automating and delegating whatever it is that you don't need to do. Bills on auto pay, grocery pickups instead of walking through the store. Maybe that looks like not sitting on your phone doom scrolling for the first hour of the day, and you actually get out and start your day in the way that makes you happy, in a way that pours into you. And that's also a major thing with people having dysregulated nervous system, is because you don't know how to put that time back into your pot. You got time going everywhere to everybody else's pot, to the work pot, to the kids pot, to the spouse pot, to the hobbies, to whatever, but it's not real time for you to sit down and, like, when is the last time you heard your own thoughts? When is the last time you gave yourself the permission to clear your mind? Reminders are important. Reminders are helpful. You literally have these $1,000 smartphones, and you literally can tell it to set you a reminder for this, set you a calendar update for this, set you an alarm for this. If you can't manage your time, then how will you have time to do the things that make you more money? How will you have the time to do things that make you happy? Like, it literally starts with being able to manage your mind, your time, and your life. This is also what I like to call a tool of emotional intelligence, right? Where you really learn how to lead your own self, where you really start hacking your own system. So if you know you work from this time to this time and you don't want to get up before work to go work out, exercise, whatever that is, then you set that time to do whatever that is after that. You know, you learn your schedule, your likes and your dislikes, and you practice. That starts with practicing, like, oh, I'm going to try this for a day or two and see how it works. You don't have to commit to anything starting out, and you don't have to have it all figured out. And also, let me say, this is not about being perfect. This is not about being perfect at all. This is about creating structure that you can depend on, because this is also about being able to trust yourself to hold your commitments to yourself in the time that you say you're going to do something. When you say you're going to do something at this day and at this time and it doesn't get done, then you have to hold yourself accountable for what does that look like for rescheduling? Or am I just going to do this another time? Or is this something that just needs to not be done by me? Maybe I need to delegate. Maybe I need to automate. Maybe I need to ask for help. You shouldn't feel like you have to carry it all alone. And even if you are someone that has to carry it all alone, you still have the ability to delegate, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to be more organized. If you have a cell phone, that's a tool right there on how to get more organized. You got pen and paper, that's a tool to get more organized. You don't have to go out and buy no bunch of extravagant things. You can start with getting organized where you are with what you have right now, right here today. So yeah, when it comes to self-trust, this also helps with keeping promises to yourself, right? You are learning how to create boundaries with yourself and enforce those boundaries with yourself, right? Because if you can't uphold your boundaries to yourself, how can you uphold boundaries for anyone else? Your boundaries start with you. So if you know that you created a goal and now you have to set out what's your action plan to do it, you shouldn't allow anything to throw you off of that action plan. Regardless of whatever is happening around you, you got to have that discipline and that consistency to want to see it through. A lot of times we start things and we don't end it. When you start something, you have to finish it. That's how I was raised. If you're not going to do a good job at what you're starting, then don't even try it. But if you know you're going to put your best effort forward, because it's not about being perfect. It's about putting forth the effort to have better, to do better, to be better. Create time boundaries. Enforce those boundaries. If I don't meet this time, can I reschedule it for another time? This little playlist is bopping. So let's get into it. What are your priorities? Oh, yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Share this with somebody you care about that you feel like would benefit from the message. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's get into what is your priorities. What are the things that are important to you that you want to have the time to do? And it doesn't have to be a long list of things. It can be one thing. Oh, I want to have the time to read a book. I want to have the time to go for a walk. I want to make sure that I spend the time drinking enough water each day. You know, you don't have to start with this extravagant list. You start with the simple things. And then once you build that self trust, it makes it that much more easier to build on top of it. It's easier to build on top of a solid foundation than one that's already shaky. And that's why I say you start where you are with what you have right now. You don't start with, oh, I need to buy this, or I need to get that, or I need to have this before I can start. Oh, I need to wait. No, you said you was gonna start last Monday. Last Monday was the month. Like, when are we gonna do it? Why are we gonna keep putting it off for the Monday after the Monday after the Monday? Why do we have to wait on anything? Why can't we start right now with what we have? Why can't we start making better decisions for ourselves right now? You know you've been making terrible choices. Why can't you start making a better choice right here, right now, today? How are you creating an intentional life? Or are you just allowing somebody else to create the life for you? Are you if you don't control your time and your mind, somebody else will. Somebody else will take all that time that you haven't been able to spend on yourself or the things that are important to you. You say you want passive income. What have you been studying to get passive income? What work are you putting into that bucket to get more out of it? If you're not putting anything in it, if you're not making those deposits, then how are you going to get something back from it? And let's just get into this like soft life, making money off of my aura, making money to exist, the manifestation, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff still requires you to have a structure. Even manifestation, rituals, whatever it is, it requires you to have a plan. It requires you to know, I want to manifest X to get to YZ. I want to start here and I want to get there. What is the starting point? How do you start? Structure is what creates that safe and soft life that everybody's been talking so much about. You can't have safety without structure. Come on, y'all. Let's talk about it. How can you have safety without structure? A consistent life is a predictable life, and a predictable life is non chaotic for the most part, right? When you know you have this routine, this schedule, this is what you do 80% of the time, whatever that looks like, you know your consistency, you know what's happening in your world, you have control. Now you have the bandwidth and the capacity for more. And that goes right back into leading yourself into construction rather than destruction, going into being proactive instead of reactive in life. How are you being more proactive in your world with managing yourself? What time are you setting aside for your nervous system to be regulated? What is your schedule? Are you scheduling in a massage? Are you scheduling in time to relax? Are you scheduling in a nap? You know, how do you build the management of your nervous system into the time that you have, especially when you're spending all your time so freely doing things that don't make you relax? Taking inventory on what you're consuming mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Cut off subscriptions you're not using, time management, TV things you're not watching, whatever that looks like. All these things go into time. And your time is money. That's why you have to know how to spend your time well. If you don't spend your time well, somebody else will. That's why so many things are trying to get your attention. How does this lead you into a more wealthy, healthy, happy life? Because you can live a calmer life. And when you're calmer, you can create more. It's hard to create stuck in survival mode when you're wondering what I'm cooking for dinner, what I'm paying, what I'm, all these little things that you do every single month. You should already have this figured out in some way. You pay the same bills 12 months out the year. You pay the, you do the same, you eat the same food. Why is this not already on a management system where I'm ordering my groceries every 2 weeks and I have this budget set for this thing? That's how you regulate your nervous system, because I'm not reacting to, oh my goodness, this just happened. I have the time and the capacity to hold more. Because if I'm not a good steward of what I already have, how can I get to passive income? How can I get to build a business? How can I get to whatever that looks like that you want to have in your life? You know, learning how to manage your time help you create better choices. It gives you more time to create. And I already said this, but it keeps you from being reactive. And I think that's super important because a lot of people don't comprehend how reactive they are in their own life. You are reacting to everything that's happening to you. Everything's happening to you because you're not taking that control to keep things from happening to you. You know you need this, but you didn't schedule it. You know you need that, but you didn't take the time to do what you needed to do. Now you're overwired and overstimulated because you didn't give yourself that time. You didn't give yourself that space, that grace that you needed. That is emotional intelligence, is understanding the space that you need to create whatever it is that you're trying to have in your life. So call it out. What is it that is taking up so much of your time and your mind? Write it out. Excuse me. Write it out, burn it. Decide what it is that you want for yourself. What are, I don't know, 3 goals that you want to accomplish? We're in July. Let's look at it from the year standpoint. We got 2 quarters left. We're in the 3rd quarter. What are you going to do? What do you want to have by the end of the year? You know, what is the non-negotiables? I'm going to do this no matter what. One of my non-negotiables is I go for a walk 5 days out the week. Non-negotiable. I work from home. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to get my steps in. So that's what I've been doing today, making sure I get my steps in. It really doesn't have to be super complicated. You know, you can do time blocks. One of the lovely ladies that inspire me talked about, I also linked their videos below for resource purposes because I believe in giving all creators their flowers for the nuggets that they've input into my life. But one of the ladies talked about time blocking, and she said that you can call it the wealth hour, you know, the business hour, and whatever that hour looks like, right? The hobby hour. And you spend what, 30 minutes, an hour a day, whatever that time that you can delegate to that, doing something that matters to you. If you want to have a business, what are you learning about businesses? Set a time block on your phone. That's the business hour. Maybe that's the time you create content. Maybe that's the time you learn about businesses. Maybe that's the time you do something for your business. You record something, whatever it is. For the wealth hour, you learn about financial literacy. Like today is Market Mondays. I will be watching EYLs because that's a part of my goal is financial literacy. And so when you create a goal for yourself, it's up to you to hammer that goal in, and for you to surround yourself with the things that feed what you're doing instead of take you away from what you're doing. You really have to have a strict program for yourself. Like they always talk about having a strict program for a relationship, a man or a woman. Well, what is the strict program that you got for you? What is your strict program? And how you gonna be strict on somebody else if you ain't strict in your own life, in your own world, what you got going on? Let's talk about it. So, put things in your calendar. Tell that phone to set a calendar alert. Set a reminder. You can also, this came from Aaron on Demand, send yourself a voice note. So voice out your goals, right? One of the challenges, let's do it as a challenge. Do a voice note on your phone and send it to your own number. And in December, put what you want to accomplish by December in the voice note. What are the 3 goals? Whatever that look like for you, put it in a voice note. Your 3 goals that you want to be, and your action plan on how you gonna get it done. And I also like to include what are the barriers, because you need to know what are the things that you might have to duck and dodge from yourself. Oh, I know after I get off work, if I sit down, I'm not doing nothing. So that means I don't need to sit down when I get off work. I need to keep it moving. I got to keep the ball rolling. Do the voice note. I love that. I did that last year, and I'm going to listen to it in December for the goals that I created last year, which I'm super excited about, because even something like this was something that I voice noted to myself that I wanted to show up in public speak more. So here I am. I am keeping my commitments to myself, and I am upholding myself to the standards that I set. Come on, Soft and Savage 888. Let's get into it. So make a list too and write it out. Make a list of what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, and let's get that action plan on how you can get it done. And this is how you regulate your nervous system. It's through structure. Get your schedule together. That's how you have less chaos in your life. And I'm just looking at my notes. Let me see. Oh yeah, which is really the foundation of it is that time management is a system that helps you regulate your nervous system, right? That's what this is all about, is learning how to be emotionally regulated, managing your nerves, managing your time so you're not in a rush to get to things and places and stuff like that. There's no reason you should be in a rush when you know how to manage your time. And just start being mindful of the time. Like, oh, it's this time. I need to, normally I'm getting ready for work, but now I can do this instead. Learn how to swap it out, structure it in a way that makes sense for you. I know that every day at this time I like to eat. I don't like to eat early in the day because I'm not really a breakfast person. I like to break my fast afternoon. That's just something that I naturally like to do. So in the morning, all I'm doing is drinking tea and water. So, if you enjoyed this live, share with someone that you love. If you got some money, send a donation to Divine Dominique on Cash App, okay? If you don't got no money, then you should be sharing this with the people that you love, liking, commenting, because all that is free, okay? We trying to get wealthy over here. I am a for-profit business. No, but seriously, like, share, and subscribe. If you do feel like this conversation was valuable to you or that you learned something that you want to apply, or even share something that's helped you with time management and how you've been able to calm your nervous system since implementing different things. Talk to me. Let me know how it's working out for you.